This is about the Mandela effect. So people who've already looked into this and looked into CERN, just bear with me, because I feel like I've connected some of the dots and what some of the Mandela effect changes mean. And excuse me, I've got a bit of a flu as well, sorry. So, Mandela effect, where a group of people, say B, including myself and a lot of other people I've spoke to, distinctly remember something one way, which is different from what actually exists, okay? It's called the Mandela effect because a lot of people remember Nelson Mandela having died in the 1980s. So this is the Queen from the old cartoon Snow White.
Slave in the magic mirror, come from the farthest space. Through wind and darkness I summon thee. Speak! Let me see thy face.
What wouldst thou know, my queen?
Magic mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all?
So she doesn't say mirror, mirror on the wall, as I remember it, as loads of other people remember it. But at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I can't deny that maybe I just read the book, you know, and that's where I got it from. So originally, I was like a bit dubious about this Mandela effect thing. By the way, did you notice when she said from outer space? I don't know if that was always there. Anyway, then I came across other examples, which for sure, these are definitely Mandela effects for me. So pause the video while you're answering these. So one is the colour of C-3PO, the robot man in the 3 Star Wars original movies, and is he all this colour? Okay, so Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck are all part of a cartoon series called Looney what? What is the surname of the actor who plays Superman? Christopher what? Okay, and does Curious George, the cartoon monkey, what does he look like? Does he have a tail? And finish spelling the Bible book that describes the end of the world. The book of... So here's C-3PO. I remember he's all gold, but look, he's got a silver leg now. I don't know if you guys remember that, or do you remember him all gold? And then do you guys recognise this? Looney Tunes, as in cartoons, Looney Tunes, you know? And then there's Christopher Reeves and Book of Revelations. Well, guess what? They never existed. Looney Tunes never existed. It was always Looney Tunes. Curious George never had a tail. I thought he's a monkey. I don't get that. Christopher Reeves is no longer Christopher Reeves. It's Christopher Reeve without the S. Christopher Reeves still turns up when you Google it. So there's a lot of other people that remember him spelled with an S. Book of Revelations has turned into Book of Revelation without the S. If you don't believe me, research yourself. Definitely research everything I say here yourself. Look, it was just me or you remember it one way. That's one thing. Could be bad memory. But there's a whole group of people who remember it the same way as us. So science is the discovery of something or the non-discovery of something to confirm theories. So I even checked like the Hebrew, Greek, Latin and Aramaic translations of the Bible, and they all say Revelation. So only being able to find old versions of the Bible with Revelation or Looney Tunes, Tunes, and people saying, oh, but it was always like that. Well, that only proves that this history is different from the way Group B remembers things. I mean, check out this old map of the world. This is an old map, so it's not because the plates have moved, okay? Did you remember Australia being so north? It's touching, literally nearly touching Papua New Guinea now. And then there's South America, and that's really close to South Africa for me. I remember it more directly under North America. And then there's our anatomy. And I'm no doctor, okay, so I could be wrong. I kind of remember our lungs being along here, taking more room up, and then there was our diaphragm and our stomach and our intestines zigzagging down here and down. I especially don't remember our spleen being up here. Or apparently this is our liver up here. I thought we had like a left and right liver. Okay, so I'm a little confused because there might be doctors out there that remember it like us, who are performing operations, and then things have changed. So maybe we've got it wrong. I'm not sure. This is CERN. CERN is the European Organisation for Nuclear Research, and they've got this Large Hadron Collider, LHC, and you're probably wondering what's that got to do with these changes. Well, because they're sending particles from each side of this 27-kilometre circumference tunnel, built 100 metres underground. They're sending particles from each end, and then they're smashing them together in the name of science, okay? And Dr. Lamrock, who works there, says, we're hoping to see supersymmetry and extra dimensions. Well, and other scientists have realised that, particle collisions at the LHC might tear a small hole into the four-dimensional space-time, creating a tiny wormhole. So, they could be the ones causing all this weirdness, because nobody really knows what happens when you, punch holes through parallel universes, do they? Really? And then there's Dr. Bertolucci. He's the research director at CERN. And he says there would be an open door, which would be open for a tiny lapse of time. During that time, they'll be able to peer into this open door by either getting something out of it or sending something into it. Then he tries to reassure us, saying, the door is shut, bringing us back to our normal four-dimensional world, or thought of no practical use. He's brushing off the portal as no practical use. Okay, but there are people out there saying they're opening the gates of hell. That's rather dramatic, don't you think? Well, there's some more craziness out there. The CERN logo is made out of 666, and then its location is at St. Genus Poly, which comes from the Latin word apollicum, and it's located in the town where there used to be a town and temple dedicated to Apollo, the god of destruction. And then there's the Book of Revelations. When the bottomless pit is opened, the angel of the bottomless pit, its Greek name is Apollyon. Okay, so do you remember all the cult stories and horror movies where the witches or guys stand in the protective circle where they summon up demons? Well, whether you believe it or not, some guy called Aleister Crowley, he's famous for using magic, he stood in the triangle outside the circle while someone in the circle summoned a demon into the triangle, and afterwards everybody thought he was possessed. So now check out CERN's official scientific video. This is a cut from it. So this is their official scientific video with weird dancing, falling into the abyss. There's other videos we've shown him falling into the abyss as well. Watch going backwards. Hasn't got pants on. So here's that circle again, white figure in the middle, black figure outside, more weird dancing. And then the black figure is like he's controlling or the master of those people. And collision failure in a promotion video, which is a bit weird. So if you think that video is weird, here are clips from the opening ceremony of the Gotham-based tunnel. This is a $10.3 billion tunnel, the deepest and longest built in Switzerland. So who's to say they didn't build some extra tunnels to CERN? So this is held in front of all the European leaders, including German Chancellor Angela Merkel. And I wonder who paid for this ceremony, like is it the taxpayers? So weird dead workers, weird angel. This is heading towards the light. There's a goat. And then they're holding goat skulls. And the goat represents Satan. Here's the goat whipping them along. And then the sacrificial lamb. And then there's the priest and stuff enjoying it all. Born into the dead. Some more weirdness. There's the goat leading the dance again. And this is the climax, this is the end, and literally the climax of the ceremony is the goat shagging this other one, which is in white, while there's a woman in red behind and she's pregnant. And she's gyrating there. And then right at the end, they've got the cup going backwards and a bit forward, spinning backwards and a bit forward. And they all start to bow down to this clock. I mean, am I just being paranoid, or is something weird going on here? And, you know, the whole ceremony ends with these guys shagging, and then she's pregnant behind. I mean, if that's not symbolism for you, I don't know what is, because that's like the birth of the Antichrist. And to be honest, this whole ceremony looks more like a demonic ritual summoning Satan, doesn't it, really? This is Lord Silver, the statue that stands outside Sharon. He was gifted from India in 2004, and certainly states on the plaque, it says, Lord Silver danced the universe into existence and motivates it and will eventually extinguish it. And in the actual belief, Silver destroys a weary universe to prepare for its renewal. So is that what they're doing? Two of the major goals for CERN is to collapse and break apart the God particle and to tear a hole through the veil, that is the barrier protecting our physical universe from the unknown. So the Wizard of Oz line has changed from pay no attention to the man behind the curtain to pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. So maybe they've already torn a hole through the veil. In Intel's advert of Lady Gaga, and you can check out all the other theories on that on YouTube as well, they actually state that they are the man behind the curtain. The Bernstein Bears have changed to the Bernstein Bears. Physicist David Bernstein works at the NHC. I mean, he's written papers like the universal quantum constraints on the butterfly effect. In other words, you know, if something happens, if action happens, how is the ripple effect constrained? So in the field of dreams, the line, if you build it, they will come, has changed to if you build it, he will come. But who will come? Evil Knievel has changed to Evil Knievel. Come on, we all know that Knievel was made up to rhyme with evil, right? Not Evil Knievel. Weird. Anyway, who would come? Evil. Interview with a Vampire has been changed to Interview with the Vampire. Okay, so I don't know if some of these are actually warnings for another group of people. Okay, so this is Rihanna. She's the self-proclaimed princess of the Illuminati. And here she stands in quite a yucky dress, to be honest, at the White House and poses by a public phone. And on the dress, you can see what looks like the LHC at the front and also going all the way around the dress. Okay, so Superman represents the House of El, a god and immortality, and he uses the phone to change from Clark Kent to Superman. Okay, so is she representing, they've already released this entity? This entity's in somebody at the White House, so this person's already like a god as well. Eek. Okay, or is she like representing like the elite that found a way to achieve immortality using the LHC, or even both? Because, you know, there's some Mandela effects of people reporting some actors that they remember dying, but suddenly alive now. Okay, so I don't watch a lot of TV, so I don't know if they're Mandela effects for me, but you know, maybe you should check it out. So one thing's for sure, they're definitely notifying their people they've achieved something with the LHC. Okay. Christopher Reeve's name has changed to Reeve. Okay, so maybe, you know, it is an emphasis on the plural, and then they're representing that there's going to be Superman, there's going to be loads of people with immortality. So there are theories out there that the New World Order are using chemical trails, viruses, vaccinations and GMOs to change our DNA for us to be compatible for whatever they're calling down, okay? There's not much evidence of that now, apart from the fact that our atomy has, you know, kind of changed, I think. But, you know, in Revelations, after the bottomless pit has opened, it says, "And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them." And in other versions, it says they will dig for death like buried treasure, and they won't find it. In Nostradamus' prediction, he says, leave, Geneva, every last one of you. Saturn from gold to iron will be changed. The opposing ray paths will exterminate all. Before it started, the sky will show signs. Okay, so there's no direct translation for ray paths. Okay, and there wouldn't have been a word for particles then, so maybe it was derived from sound. So they're shooting pos, as in positive, rays and opposite antiproton rays in opposing directions to collide. Okay, so we all know CERN is located in Geneva, and I don't know if you remember the Fovo car logo, you know, horizontal rectangle with a silver circle around it, and then there used to be a diagonal behind it which was part of the grille. Okay, so even if you don't remember it, do you remember this? Have you ever seen this before? This is the Fovo sign since, I don't know, forever. At least since from 1975. This car is from, shown here, has the arrow Fovo sign from 1975. And this arrow sign is also the symbol for iron. Okay, so you guys do your own research. Okay, I didn't find a rare picture of an old Fovo with an arrow. I couldn't find the Fovo without this symbol since I was born. Okay, so why have I never seen the symbol before? Why do I remember a different logo? Okay, so they said from gold to iron will be changed. CERN started off by carrying out low energy RHIC experiments using gold, okay, but now they've switched to colliding iron. That was around the end of 2015. So it's like they're saying, once we switch to iron, we'll send you guys all a sign. C-3PO's leg is turned from gold to silver, or is it gold to iron? Is this iron? So Anthony Patch has a theory on the Saturn connection. He believes they're opening portals for aliens from Saturn to come down, and they're communicating with them, and later they're going to declare them as our forefathers. Okay, so I've left his video link down bottom. I'm not quite convinced, but you know, you guys make of it what you will. Okay, but ISIS are destroying all archaeological sites and records as possible. The Sumerians are the oldest known civilization on Earth, and Stitchin did the translations of their tablets. So from his translations, we originated from extraterrestrials from the planet Nibiru. Okay, and there's a lot of scientific findings that were already in Stitchin's translations, which were not discovered until later. Okay, so this kind of backs up a lot of his stories. Okay, so this would explain why ISIS are trying to like erase as much evidence as possible of our true history. Okay, so Star Wars' famous line, "Luke, I'm your father," has changed to "No, I'm your father." Okay, so that could be in reference to the fact that these guys are going to try and pretend to be our forefathers. And then Curious George has lost his tail, which is the evolution of man. So they would consider us merging with other entities or achieving immortality as the further evolution of man. The last line was that the sky would show signs first. This was taken over CERN.
Oh yeah, that's just insane.
this light going up? So did they just open a portal to let, you know, aliens or entities pass through? No idea. And, you know, if the Mandela effects are deliberate, how could they have made these changes, right? How could they have made changes to the printed Bible? Well, in September 2008, Stephen Hawking unveiled the £1 million corpus clock. This clock was donated to Cambridge University. And you can see on top, there's a lotus. And in the book of Revelations, it said, once the bottomless pit is opened, out of the smoke lotuses came down on the earth and were given power like that of the scorpions of the earth. The scorpion is walking backwards towards the past, controlling the clock going forward. Check out the scorpion tail. So that's pretty creepy, pretty disgusting, yet this can't cost £1 million. Do you really think it doesn't mean anything? And then a month later, Obama, in his election victory speech in 2008, says this:
to put their hands on the Ark of history and bend it once more toward the hope of a better day.
So Ark of the Covenant was a vessel for the Holy Commandments. You know, always Ark, vessel for the animals, Ark of the Bulrushes, vessel for baby Moses. And now we have the Ark of history, a vessel somehow holding history. You know, it's a vessel in which they can go back to control history. Long stretch? Well, you know, he keeps going on about the right side of history and the wrong side of history, that the Atlantic actually wrote a piece on it, you know. It's as if he's applying there can be different sides of history, that they're now on the right side of history, you know, like it's now been set right, okay. And they've even titled the piece, quite fittingly, The Wrong Side of the Right Side of History. And with the starting line, Obama espouses a radical faith in a history bending towards perfection, against evidence and reason. Really? Maybe he does have evidence. Maybe he knows that he can bend it towards perfection. That's why he has this faith. Anyway, it's worth listening to his speech again in this new light, because there's just some weird bits in it, including this bit.
Service, a new spirit, a sacrifice. So let us summon a new spirit.
See how he stumbles before he says that? This is a sacrifice filmed outside CERN, which later CERN admit that it happened on their grounds, but it was a practical joke. The scary thing is we don't see what happens to the lady, because the guy runs off scared when they start stabbing her. So we don't know if it's a mock sacrifice or just a sacrifice. So this is the watch going backwards. Now when the clock going backwards and forwards at the end of the tunnel ceremony, and they all start bowing down to it. Weird. Who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past. Forrest Gump, life is like a box of chocolates, has now been changed to life was like a box of chocolates. Which doesn't even make sense, does it? Because it was supposed to be life is a box of chocolates because it's full of surprises. Well, now it's was because there's no more surprises now that they control the future. And then there's the old television program Different Strokes. It's been changed to different strokes of the clock. You know, I don't know what all the meanings of all the Mandela effects are. You know, some of them might be side effects due to ripple effects of main changes. Some of them might just be memory things, so they're not Mandela effects. But you know, like the Queen song Missing of the World at the end, when they sing, "We are the champions of the world." Well, that's exactly what they think they are. They think they're the champions of the world. Mirror Mirror is the play on parallel universes, and now they have a magic mirror. Now the Bengal mirror is a symbol, another symbol of the gods. Okay, it's used in the East to read feng shui and also tell the future. And look at the similarities: 8-sided, same as the LHC. I don't know, some of you might think I'm just reading stuff into this, but you know, as Jesus said, "He who has eyes to see, let them see, and those who have ears to hear, let them hear." I mean, I can't even find this in the Bible now. So have we just been paraphrasing all this time? No idea. I'm not sure about that change, but I am sure about other changes in the Bible. The lion shall lie with the lamb has now changed to the wolf will live with the lamb. So the wolf obviously represents the deceiver. So this is so later they can say, hey, it's okay to live with the wolf. I mean, look, even the Bible says it. And a lot of people say, you know, this could be a translation issue. I'm not sure how a word can be translated to either lion or wolf. Okay, it could be a translation issue, it could be a version issue. Then in Acts 5:30 and Acts 10:39, it says Jesus was hanged on a tree. Hanged on a tree? He was crucified on a cross. I mean, come on. You can argue that there's loads of versions out there, loads of different translations, but there's no way the Bible would have made this mistake. That's the whole storyline of Jesus. He was crucified on the cross for our sins. Remember? The scriptures are changing. They've changed all of the Bibles that I've been able to check. All the versions, including Hebrew, Greek, Latin, and Aramaic translations to the book of Revelations. It's changed to Revelation. And then the Lord's Prayer, where it goes, and forgive us of our sins or trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. The word has been changed to debt. So now it says, forgive us of our debt as we forgive our debtors, which is a banking term. So, you know, where did we get trespasses from? I know there's prayer books and there's prayer cards that still says trespasses, and maybe Group B got it from like prayer books and prayer cards, but where did the prayer books and prayer cards get it from if the Bible never said that? So I've noticed in some versions of the Acts 5:30 and 10:39 it hasn't been changed completely. Some say he was hung on a piece of wood, you know, or crucified on a tree. It seems like they're leaving room for argument now, rather than changing all of them, like in the case of Revelation and debt. And why isn't the Vatican uproar? Well, there's loads of research on, you know, they're part of the New World Order. Whether you believe that or not, the thing is, a tree is judged by its fruit. The Vatican, one of the richest countries in the world, they preach, give to the poor, yet they hardly donate out their own pocket at all, okay? A good tree will bear good fruit, a bad tree will bear bad fruit. And you saw the mock priests celebrating the tunnel ceremony, which ended with the birth of the Antichrist, yeah? So this is already prophesied. They already said that, you know, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Therefore, it's no great thing if his ministers also transformed as the ministers of righteousness, as in the ministers of the church, whose end shall be according to their works. A tree is judged by its fruits. So, even if you're not familiar with the Bible, or you don't believe in the Bible changes, you know, you just can't deny the weirdness at CERN. And even if you don't believe in any of the Mandela effects, okay, there's still Nostradamus' prediction. And for those who don't believe in the Bible changes, it was predicted, you know, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first. And they also said, man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. He will oppose and exalt himself over everything that is called God or is worshipped, so that he sets himself up in God's temple, proclaiming himself to be God. You know, the Vatican already have people calling their priest father. And that's blasphemy, really, if, you know, if you believe there's only one father. So Star Wars, the famous line, Luke, I'm your father, has changed to no, I'm your father. So that could be, you know, Saturn aliens claim to be our forefathers, and also them trying to get us to accept a false god claiming to be the father. So what to do about it? So you've got to trust your own memory and check with other people as well. And remember, Jesus said that you are God's temple. God's spirit dwells in you, okay? God's temple is holy and you are that temple. We've got to remember that this is just a play. We're all part of Source, of God. It's like Source is this massive ocean and we're like the waves. We're extensions of Source coming down to experience different things, to experience a human experience on earth, experience emotions, and every single experience adds to the knowledge and wisdom of the All. It just seems really real right now while we're here on earth. But the thing is, when we're on earth, we start to form a lot of attachments and we develop a lot of karma. So karma is when we go through a situation and then we die and we want to come back and we want to redo it. You know, could be because we feel like we didn't learn that lesson well, we did something wrong, we want to make up for it. You know, we want to experience it from the other person's side because we feel like we deserve it, or we want to learn, you know, another side of the situation. In many of the near-death experience, right, people report that it isn't God that judges them. It's them. As you know, their life flashes in front of them. It's them that judges themselves. And there's justified karma and there's unjustified karma. And unjustified karma is when people judge themselves way, way too harshly. And they feel that they have to relearn something or they did something wrong where really, you know, they did the best they could have done in that situation. So this is why we're stuck in this karmatic cycle. And then in each life cycle, if we're not careful, we just, you know, develop more karma. So for people who don't believe in reincarnation, that's something the church teaches. Jesus never said there was no such thing as reincarnation, okay? The church teaches a lot of stuff that Jesus never said. The church controls what books go into the Bible, and they control what you learn, basically. And they've been destroying, you know, libraries and history and knowledge all over the world, you know, in the big Christian crusades and stuff all the time. Yeah, so, you know, the Vatican holds a lot of knowledge in their library, which obviously is out of bounds. So you really got to think for yourself when you read. So that's with all the Holy Scriptures, not just with the Bible. You've got to stop and think what they're teaching you, if it's right or wrong. And not just think, but have a feel if it feels right or wrong to you. I mean, your conscience knows. Don't you find it strange that Jesus and Buddha are complete opposites, and they completely complement each other perfectly? Buddha was born a prince. He gave up his kingdom for spiritual awareness. And then there's Jesus, who was a poor shepherd who became a king. So Buddha's like the sum to all the rich and Jesus to all the poor of what you can achieve. You know, it doesn't matter what status you are. And what's more important, spiritual awareness, you know, that we learn that we're all part of Source. And Jesus died for our sins. He didn't say, hey, the church is the only one that can forgive you of your sins if you go and confess, right? This is something the church made up. How can that be compatible with the fact that Jesus said he died for our sins? And he died for our sins. We wouldn't feel like we have to continually come back and set things right, especially in the case of unjustified karma, you know, so that we would be free to go and return to Source. I used to think it's not really fair. If people repented on their deathbed, they'll still be saved, okay? But, you know, now I understand we're all one. Buddhists also teach that if you focus on a higher being, Buddha or the Source, as you die, as you go through the bardos, the different stages of death, you can be saved from the cycle. If you focus on them, you basically lose your focus on the attachments. And you're not drawn to reincarnation and back to earth again. You're drawn to your focus. You're drawn upwards towards Source. You know, that's the law of attraction. You attract what you focus on, because as you think, you create vibrations. And then you're drawn towards matching vibrations. Even Muslims believe that if you repent and remember Muhammad on your deathbed, you will be saved. So bad entities feed on drama. They love drama, 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 and negative emotions. And they want you to come back. They want you to stay trapped. So, you know, Earth has become this trap due to this karmatic cycle of ours. And you've got to understand that most of the negative voices, the majority of them, in your head are not yours. Okay, they prey on weak minds and sad hearts, and they push negative thoughts into your head to create more drama. And you think the voice is yours, and you end up rolling with it, and you just start thinking of these negative things. You just can't stop, can you? Do you know, have you ever been stuck like that in this negative train of thought, and you just can't seem to stop thinking about it? And this is why meditation helps, because when you meditate, you learn to notice your thoughts. So then when you in your daily life, you can start noticing when you start to have negative train of thoughts. So then you can stop them and you can focus your mind elsewhere. You know, you can start reading a book, you can start doing something else. And there's like instructions on how you can begin to meditate in the website, and I'll leave links below. Similar vibrations are attracted to each other, law of attraction. So if you raise your vibrations above theirs, above the bad negative entities who have low vibrations, it's harder for them to connect. Negative thoughts will lower your vibration. So you need to stay positive. You can learn to channel energy, learn to heal yourself. You know, you can learn chakra healing. There's pages on self-healing in the website. It's all free. It's all free. You don't lose anything from trying at all. And, you know, you might even learn something. So why not give it a go? So, you know, the website's there to remind you of who you truly are, and that you are an extension of Source. You need to remember that, because right now, CERN are openly searching for dark matter. They've stated it. They've stated they want to find out why the universe prefers matter over antimatter, and they're going to test and challenge the model. So dark matter is very, very dense. That means it's like super, super, super low vibrations, okay? And CERN have already announced to everybody, to their followers, that, let's find it, if they were to create dark matter at the LHC, they would escape through their detectors unnoticed. Okay? But they would carry away energy and momentum. So the physicists will notice them going. So the thing is, if more dark matter was released to the world, their lower vibrations, it's going to affect everything and everyone around them. They're going to, you know, lower the vibrations of everything around them. So you need to keep raising your vibrations. Right? And this in turn is going to affect your surroundings as well. As they say, happiness is infectious. So be very mindful about being positive and not being like dragged down in negativity. So this is why Looney Tunes has changed the Looney Tunes. Tunes, you know, represents vibrations. Dark matter, low vibrations will turn everything loony. So this guy woke up and found that his old Theosaurus had new sections of white pages in it. He's made other videos as well of close-ups of his Theosaurus, and you can see the pages browning really quickly. Anyway, listen to what he says.
So, looks like fresh red paint. The red is fresh. It's not like this very yellowed. You know, this red has yellowed. It's gone toward a dingy orange. What the last word or the last reference is on the yellowed pages, and the first reference on the white page, and see what we get. The last entry on the discolored paper saying writing tablet, but look it up, and it's in the category that's all about paper. And then we look at what appears to be marble, but then we look it up, and it's a category about polychrome. There's trichrome. I haven't looked it up yet, but there's probably dichrome, which means two colors, which is what's going on here. And then even wackier, it says discoloration. That's 440A. Okay, well, let's go to the section that's near the beginning. I'll try to mark this. So here's where it breaks off. Here's the other section. This section also has the red edging, like it's new paint. And the beginning of this section says instantaneity. In other words, something happening instantly, suddenly. It says see perpetuity, and so then here on the previous page it says perpetuity with all kinds of words about permanence, things that go on forever, and so forth. Okay, things that are unchanging. That idea as well. So this says instantaneity, and so we have instant and sudden. So then I went to the end of it, and the end of it says destruction. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to have instant destruction. I mean, these are new white pages, which is the opposite of instant destruction. Okay, so, but it's like the back in the index where we have the references to paper and discoloration. It's as if that is a key. I'm not saying this is the case. I'm just saying it's as if that's a key that says, okay, there's something going on here. Check it out further. And then we get instant. I mean, the word instant is throughout here. Instant destruction. The first word on this page is instantaneity, and then the last word on this page is, before the yellowing pages, is destroys. What? What? To build up cities, an age is needed, but an hour destroys. Okay.
Okay, so there were extra 440 sections. There was an additional 440A section. Then it got instantaneously see perpetuity destruction. So there's no other reports of other copies of this book having changed, so this might not be a Mandela effect. But it does seem like a clear warning. Now, 440 Hertz is the A tone, which all instruments are tuned to. And you can see it here. This is the shape it makes in chromatics. It's the vibrational shape it makes in water. And there's a hexagon. And there's a hexagon on Saturn. So, you know, 448 instantaneous destruction. I don't know. What I do know is 432 Hertz is the healing harmonic tone. Okay, and this resonates with the world and our bodies right here. The reason why I say this is that when tones tuned to 432 Hertz are played, they form flower-like patterns in water. This doesn't happen to tones tuned to 440A. Watch this. So positive thoughts, which are vibrations as well, also produce beautiful water crystals in Dr. Emoto's experiments, which you can read about in the article called Positive Power. And negative thoughts don't produce these crystals. So you've got to consider that nearly everything on Earth contains water. We should tune everything to 432 Hertz. Because basically it has beneficial effects to us and everything around us. Our bodies are like 60% water. You can do that by downloading this free software called Audacity. There's loads of YouTube tutorials how to convert music from 440 Hertz to 432 Hertz. Here, and I'll leave links below. So there are light workers who are channeling energy to Earth, and they're raising the Earth's vibrations and trying to move the Earth up into a new dimension, to a new Earth. So as the Earth moves up, it may go through parallel dimensions that might cause Mandela effects. But you know, the ones that I've gone through, I do feel they're deliberate, and I do feel that some of them might even be warnings from a different group of people. So when I first started research about CERN, I was like a bit freaked out. So it felt like a bit of a race. So you have the light workers who are raising the energy of Earth and raising its vibrations. And then we have CERN who's trying to produce more dark matter and doing other weird stuff at the same time. But now it seems like the Earth's going to split into 2 dimensions. So the new Earth will take with it those with higher vibrations. So you know what? You guys got to wake people up. And you guys got to make a decision now to let go of the karma. Make amends where you have to, forgive, whatever. Raise your vibrations and come with the new Earth. So these are just clips of this lady's talk. The whole video link is down at the bottom. And it's really worth watching from the beginning to the end. She's a hypnotist and she explains what people have been telling her why they've been reincarnated here on Earth. Well, she's had them under hypnotic state.
Or they're under, they will say, this is my first time on Earth. I came as a volunteer and I don't want to be here. And I call these the first timers, but that's the first wave. They had the most difficult time of all because it was very hard to adjust to being here. You imagine, this is not a good place to be. We have all this violence. They don't understand violence. They don't want to be here. They don't like what we are doing to the Earth. So that's the first wave. They had the hardest time adjusting. The second wave that I'm finding are those that are now in their 20s, 30s. They are having an easier time. And when I'm talking to them while they're under, they will say, this is also their first time on Earth, but they will say, I'm an antenna. I'm a channel of energy. I'm an antenna. I'm here to receive energy and spread it out to the world at this time. They don't have to do anything else. And most of the time, they live very simple lives. They don't have any problems. They're very easygoing. Sometimes they work out of their house. They don't even have to go out for a job. They will get married, but a lot of them won't have children because having children would create karma and tie them here. If we want to get in, do our job, and get out. We don't want to be stuck in this situation. Those are the second group. And they have an easier time because they were adapting easier. I asked them one time, why did the first group have such a hard time? They said because they were the pathfinders, the way showers. They had to blaze the trail for the other ones to follow as they came. And then the third wave are the new children. But the Earth is moving into this new frequency. The tsunamis, the earthquakes, the storms, all of this is the Earth as it's making these adaptations. And it wants to get rid of us, really. It's tired of us. They say it's like a dog trying to shake the fleas off because of what we've been doing to the Earth. And it really wants us out of the picture. Now, the ones who are going to move into the new Earth, the new Earth is going to be something you won't believe. It is so beautiful and wonderful. Now remember, this information comes from many, many people that I work with, and I just put it together like a puzzle. The new Earth is extremely beautiful. In the Bible, it's described as the 1,000 years of peace, when everything is perfect. You know, in the book of Revelation, when it talks about the new heaven and the new earth, and some will be left and some will be taken. This is what it's talking about. It's shifting into the new earth. Now those who will move to live on the new earth are those whose vibrations are being allowed to shift with it. Those who can't change will stay with the old earth and all of the horror that's going to be happening on the old earth. And they said, you want to move and don't look back, because they said this is something you don't want to see, that it's going to be very, very bad. But they said some will be left behind. And I said, that sounds cruel. And they said, not really, it's their own decision. Everybody has to make their own decision. Do you want to stay with what you have created, or do you want to move into this new earth that's being prepared? But they said, you must make the decision, because you can't shift your vibration that quickly. You have to make the decision, are you going to go or are you going to stay? And that's what they mean by being left behind. And those who are very much into karma will not be able to move, because they still have to, these are laws, they have to pay this off. And they're not going to be allowed to move into the new earth until they get rid of the old karma. Those people will stay with the old earth. Then when they die, they will be sent to another place, another planet that still has negative karma, so they can repay it there. They will not be allowed to come back to the new earth, because it will have changed too much. That was no place for those kind of people. It does sound cruel, but they said it's their own decision, they're making up their own mind, and they will stay in the reality they have created. Well, do you know Annie Kirkwood? She told everybody about a vision that she had of the earth doing this. This was several years ago. She said in the vision, she saw the earth. Then she saw the earth begin to pull apart like a cell dividing, as it starts to pull apart. As it pulled apart, then it snapped apart, and there were two earths side by side. Over here on this one, she heard them saying, "We did it, we did it, we did it." Over here, she heard them saying, "Poor thing, she died believing all that." One is not going to be aware of the other. They won't even be aware anything has happened. Some of this takes a lot of thinking around to bend your minds around. But that's what they said. They won't even be aware. Now, which one will you move to? Do you want to move with the new earth, or do you want to stay with the old earth?
So I'm passing the baton now. It's up to you guys now. If you believe in any of this, if any of it rings true with you, for you to share it, translate it, tell people, because you've got to wake other people up as well. Surely this is more important than her bum, okay? Surely we're not that brainwashed that we need to conform, that we're too afraid to like spread something that we may feel like is the truth, but we're more happier, you know, sharing her ass. Are we really that brainwashed? You know, it's now or never, because they're planning to build an LHC twice the size in China. And if you're an atheist, I suggest you read up on Young's double slit experiment. And it basically shows how our minds and our thoughts affect our surroundings. And you've got to notice by now that even scientists at CERN believe in gods and other entities. So you've got to let everybody know. They've got to like give up the karma. You've got to let go of attachments, make amends, forgive, raise your vibrations, yeah, with love, compassion, appreciation. Just keep positive. I know, after all that. Learn to meditate. No loose negative thoughts. Get rid of them. Learn to channel energy and help raise the vibrations of everything around you. You know, help raise the earth upwards. And remember, you're an extension of Source. You are Source. You're not a drop in the ocean. You're the entire ocean in a drop. And don't ever forget that. Don't ever let them let you forget that.